Let's see. We were going to, like, study everything from down here and then up, right?
Yeah.
Let's start here at the bottom and see whatever we can find. Did you finish taking his statement yet? Yep, all done, sir.
I do not concern if you're not done examining the cargo hold. I want my cargo back. Okay. If you make a single scratch on my art, you will pay.
Art? What sort of art? Mr. LeBlanc is an art dealer, so he's got a bunch of artwork down in the cargo hold, sir. There's practically a mountain of them, large and small.
From folk costumes to stone statues, I sell all kinds of
Stone
arts.
statues. Click on our evidence.
You mean like the one the dude was looking
Yes,
at?
in the photograph.
That's a little too big for a plane.
I don't know. We've seen how big this plane is. That's a bit.
It's several times the size of an adult.
Yeah, that is pretty big, actually. You might be right.
That is not being transported on a plane. At least not one with first. This is a normal passenger plane. That's not being on a passenger plane, dude.
True. Folk costumes. Speaking of which, Mr. LeBlanc's hat. It kind of looks like that other piece of cloth. It actually does. It does look like the cloth we found in the suitcase.
Am I forgetting something?
We got the cloth in the suitcase.
Oh,
Yeah.
this one. Oh, yeah, it does.
Should we present that to him?
I mean, we could.
Mr. LeBlanc, can you please take a look at this for me?
Oh, it's a Borgian cloth.
As I suspected, your hat is made of the same material, I suppose?
Yes, of course. This fabric is so famous. Orders come from over the seas for more.
It's well famous.
Cool.
Okay. And this is the cargo you were talking about earlier.
No. My cargo this time is many gigantic. You, detective, when can I have my cargo moved?
You can get your cargo back when we're done investigating, pal.
The stubbornness of you police, it is no good. And it is no good that attendant refuses to exit the attendance room too.
That attendant? I wonder if he's talking about Miss Tenero.
Probably.
Well, now we know that that's Borginian and apparently world famous. That cloth for some reason. What did you mean by that attendant, Mr. LeBlanc?
It's very famous for colorfulness, I guess. I don't know. She was taken into the attendance room for her interview. And then they still have not come out. They make no sign of coming out either. I was finished with my own interview much earlier, quicker than her.
Why is Miss Tenero's interview the only one that's taking up so much time? That's a very good question.
Oh, nice.
Miles Edgeworth, you were given free rein to examine the plane, weren't you? Yes, I was able to obtain the cooperation of the flight attendants. Speaking of attendants, I'd like to speak with Miss Tenero. I wonder if you might grant me permission to enter the flight attendants' room. Before I do, you still have to clear up a few issues surrounding your own circumstances. I understand. You may have tricked those attendants with your sophisticated talking, but you can pull the wool over my eyes, Miles Edgeworth.
Brilliant.
Oh god, okay.
Okay, let's hear her logic.
Let's not complicate things and go with the most obvious conclusion. The scene of the crime was here, in the very lounge the body was discovered. From the time the victim was seen calling for an attendant until his body was found. The only person in this lounge the entire time was you, Miles Edgeworth. This unmistakably makes you the likeliest suspect.
I mean, true.
The likeliest suspect, Francesca. Do you have a problem with that? No, but it's not like you to use such a vague wording. Usually a bit more absolute. I'm simply trying to watch out for you. Or is my kindness too hard for you to comprehend? Thank you, but your leniency is unnecessary. I will prove my innocence soon enough. If I want to continue my investigation, I'll have to break her line of logic fast.
Alright, what do we have? Because her logic is basically we're the only person who was down here, so...
Yeah.
What do we even have? So this made a brief stop.
Yeah?
So we have the wallet thingy. For some reason that was in my pocket. We found this at 6:15.
I would say the footprints might be the thing.
Possibly. This is going to be used for something.
Yeah, at some point, obviously.
This was storing the body.
But where do we present? That's the question.
Hold it!
So tell me, Francesca, do you know all there is to know about the crime scene? I know all that I need to know in order to arrest you, and nothing more. Are you saying there's more I need to know? Why did you whip me, sir? Sorry, Scuffy. My hand must have slipped. It would appear that Francesca doesn't have all the facts of this case yet.
They were seen calling for an attendant.
Hold it!
What do you mean by seen? Please stop pretending like you don't know. It's insulting. Obviously, I'm talking about how Mr. Hicks was seen calling for an attendant at 5 a.m. And then, from the time after that, call until the body was found.
I was the only one here.
Hold it!
Well, it's true that I was in the lounge the whole time. That fact alone does not make me the criminal.
Objection!
We'll see about that as the conclusion of this investigation. However, there is one thing that even you must admit at this time.
Hold it!
Under the circumstance, I suppose I can agree that I am the most likely suspect. I believe in you, sir. I don't think you did it. Miss Von Karma's gotta believe that too, right? I mean, you two are like... Oh! Quiet, Scruffy. Even if we were related by blood, that's no guarantee that he's not the criminal. Not a criminal.
Have you met her father?
Francesca, I demand to see some proof that you are not the guilty party. Not your suspect, huh? What a roundabout euphemism. It would appear that she doesn't yet know about the new evidence that we acquired and where we acquired it. We'll take care of the gaps in the logic one hole at a time. Which means it's the suitcase, I think. I think it's the suitcase.
But where would we do it?
Yeah, that's why I don't know.
The scene of the crime, perhaps?
Probably the scene of the crime. Here we go.
Objection!
It would appear that you did not have all the information you needed after all. And what's so sad, mean? I found a nice piece of evidence just before I was forced to stop investigating. A piece that proves that the body was moved from a different location. The killer used this suitcase to move the victim's body, meaning that the real scene of the crime is not this lounge at all.
Objection!
Now who's the one that has to jump into conclusions? Excuse me? All you did was find this piece of cloth inside the suitcase. That doesn't prove that the body was moved. It could be that the killer simply chose that suitcase as a good place to hide the cloth. I expected you would come to that conclusion. You would seem I can't escape that easily. You should know better than that. Von Karma is perfect in every way. But did you know that the killer definitely wheeled the suitcase around at some point?
Objection!
As if there's proof of that. Where's the proof that the suitcase was moved around? We have the picture. Well, we have that.
We have this.
Take that!
They spilled grape juice in front of the elevator.
I can't take grape juice seriously.
Yes, and I'd like to draw your attention to this area here. Where's the evidence that proves the killer tracked the suitcase through? the
Right
skid
here,
the
I
skid
suppose.
marks on the wheels.
How accurate does this thing have to be?
Probably around there.
Take that!
The mark here. Wouldn't you say that it looks suspiciously like tracks from two wheels? I suppose. Further, there's also grape juice residue on the wheels of the suitcase. This means that the suitcase containing the victim's body definitely passed through here. I suppose this means that the killer did move the victim's body from somewhere else. I'm glad you come to your senses.
Objection!
Not so fast! This still doesn't put you in the clear, not by a long shot. Okay?
You're not even in court. Why do you care so much about making me guilty?
You prepared yourself and acquired the piggy bank before the plane hit sudden turbulence. And then you waited for the victim in the lounge, where you beat him to death. Then, while you were in the elevator with the victim's body stuffed into the suitcase, the plane hit that patch of turbulence and out flew the body from within the suitcase. With no way out, you hastily put the suitcase back where you had taken it from, and pretended to be the discoverer of the body.
Uh-huh.
Not a bad bit of logic for something you thought of on the fly. Just what are you insinuating? That I will show you exactly how flawed your logic is. But how strong of a face you put on, not even you can hide your fears from me. I'll expose the flaws in her logic in one fell swoop. Okay? I just had quite the piggy bank before. Impossible? That is literally impossible. Because it was taken out of display after the turbulence.
I mean, do I just present this
I
here?
suppose so, in one fell swoop.
Objection!
The fact that you took this piece of evidence into account in testimony is to be commended. Your legal prowess is certainly something to be feared. Evidence and logic. Essential tools that those who would stand in a courtroom must learn to master. But what if there was a fake piece of evidence thrown into the mix? A fake? This Captain Hugo piggy bank is just a fake. It's not the real murder weapon. What? The timing of when the bank was taken from the shop is important. And it was taken after the turbulence had occurred. But then, what about the blood in the bank? What do you make of that? I assume it was added after the murder, when the killer fabricated this weapon. Looking at it this way, the killer basically did 3 things after the turbulence. After exiting the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase to the shop and left it there. Then the killer proceeded to pick up the bank from off the floor and took it to fabricate a fake murder weapon by hitting the victim on the head. Finally, the victim's wallet was planted on my personage, in my pocket to be precise. Everything was done so that I would be framed for the murder of Mr. Ack B. Hicks. You there!
Oh, that's right, I'm the officer.
Yes.
I'm like, why isn't he saying anything? Yes, ma'am.
Other than this piggy bank, was anything resembling a murder weapon found?
We didn't find anything in this lounge or in the shop that could be used as one, ma'am. Most of the items that could have been used were broken during the turbulence, and the remaining items all tested negative for any trace of blood.
I see. Well, Miles Edgeworth, it appears your stall tactics are at an end.
But it's possible it's just hidden somewhere, sir.
If the criminal had wanted to hide the weapon in a safer place, I think the weapon would have been hidden in the same place as the bloody cloth. Exactly what I was thinking. Because the cloth was hidden inside that suitcase, it signals to me that the killer had not prepared a more secure place to hide the evidence, which means that the real murder weapon is either still on the murderer's personage, or is still at the real crime scene.
Objection!
There is one more possibility, and that would be that the piggy bank is in fact the real weapon. But didn't we just... Let me finish! The killer took the bank out from the display case before the turbulence by opening the lock on the display case door. And it was at that time that the glass pane in the door was broken. I'd say that's a perfectly reasonable line of reasoning, wouldn't you? Let's see. So that means that the killer had the key to the display case. Francesca, the person you're talking about. Not so fast. I'm not finished. The person I'm talking about also committed another sin. They tricked the captain and granted you permission to conduct your investigation. Yes, it is the sin of lying. Speaking of which, I recall that you also wished to speak with her. Yes, very well. Permission granted. Only if I can sit in on your interrogation. Do we understand each other? I have no intention of interrogating her, but you are welcome to accompany me if you so wish. Miss Tenero is in the flight attendant's room. Let's move. Okay?
Oh, it's so gumshoe on me. I was hoping she was. I wanted to see what her run was.
I'm sure we'll see it at some point if she sticks around. 23 p.m., flight G3901, first floor, flight attendant's room. Okay. So you're the ones that put around this plane without the captain's permission. Deviating from the flight attendant's manual is very unbecoming, you know. Oh my god, look at the post in the back. Like this professional style.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
What were you hoping to accomplish by doing that? Miss Tenero.
Ah, Mr. Edgeworth. You're here too?
Could you please help us shed some light on why you did what you did?
Alright.
Well, you can clearly see here who's sleeping where, and whose locker is whose. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
They are so different. Keep our cabin clean. Yeah, that doesn't really feel right. It's pretty easy to tell who sleeps in which bunk just by looking.
You and Edgeworth share the same brain cell.
More or less. I'm almost certain that the well-kept one up top belongs to Mr. Tenero.
Hey, you, this bottom one is a giant mess.
You sloven scarlet scrandle of a man. You dare to scrutinize a woman's bed and invade her privacy?
Oh, no!
There are some things that I best kept to yourself, detective. Fabulous! What is all this junk inside these boxes? There's no rhyme or reason for any of it.
That's all lost and found, Mr. Edgeworth.
Old crowns and swords and necklaces. It's like a treasure trove in here, sir.
The fact that these were left on the plane implies they were carried onto it to begin with. Something tells me it's time for GoU to send its metal detectors out for repairs.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. If this is all lost and
Yeah, that
found?
is a lot of gear. What are inside these boxes?
Oh, those are some souvenirs I bought in Borgina. See, we were there!
Yeah, I told you, that's where we departed from.
There's so many. There's even a second box.
Stupid boxes. Well, yes, I find that folk art from around the world does great things for my creativity.
Oh, those suitcases certainly could have done with a whole lot less of your creativity.
Like this
One of
one.
those suitcases designed by Miss Tenero. I can tell it's hardly ever been used by the lack of even a single scratch on it.
Brilliant.
So these are your attendant's lockers, huh? Let's hurry up and examine them, sir.
Why must men always be so rude? Besides, who exactly gave you permission to search who's the attendant's lockers? Wait, detective.
Why am I pointing at her?
It would be uncouth of us to look in a woman's locker without her permission.
Yeah, I guess so. Plus, I feel this murderous draft, and I can sense a whip not far behind.
Brilliant.
Wait. Oh, the door's hidden behind. Okay, that's how it's. So what's behind that door?
Yeah, seriously, I thought this was the way out. What is this door then?
Miles Edgeworth, isn't there something that you should be doing right now?
Figuring out
Of
what
course,
this
you
door
should
is.
be asking
Yeah.
Miss Tenero for her side of the story. That's right, and how does that have to do with what's over there? Nothing really. If you already knew that, then why don't you hurry up with the interrogation already?
I'm curious. Oh, this is the guy that will tell me. Cool. This door leads to the cargo hold, but I can't let you through without Miss Von Karma's express permission.
That's not a bad way to handle a situation if it was any old case. But this isn't.
So between you and Miss Von Karma, who's better at that job?
Oh, there's no comparison to be made, Detective. None.
It's obviously me.
What exactly is this panel for?
That's the emergency control panel for the elevator. We used it to stop the elevator on the first floor and to keep its doors open.
Intriguing.
Alright, fine, we can talk. She looks
He looks very down. Why did you lie about receiving the captain's permission like that?
Because I didn't think I would be able to get his permission.
What do you mean?
The captain, he only has ears for Cammy.
Oh. I spoke with the captain a little earlier myself. He definitely seems to be rather taken with Miss Millet.
Yes, and on top of that, I had mistakenly accused Mr. Edgeworth of being the killer. I wanted to make amends.
In that case, please allow me to thank you for what you did. Thanks to you, I was able to clear myself of all charges.
Really? You were able to prove your innocence? Oh, thank goodness.
Mr. Nero, is it? There is one more thing I'd like to ask you. You were in the flight shop just before the turbulence, weren't you? Please answer honestly.
Yes, I was.
And why were you there?
Well,
Why the sudden hesitation? This seems to have struck a nerve.
Tell me. All I did was go check up on the shop like I always do.
You're saying it was for work, then?
Yes, I'm in charge of the shop, so I have to keep an eye out on it. I don't have any reason to go there otherwise.
After your visit to the shop, you paid a visit to this room, correct?
Yes, I came back to freshen up and adjust my makeup. I'm sorry, but there isn't much else to tell.
Mr. Nero claims to have no reason other than duty to go to the shop. But is that all there is to it? Maybe I should ask her about that thing.
That thing, yes. That thing being this,
Yes, I think
right?
so. If you could please take a look at this for me, Mr. Nero.
Oh, that suitcase.
Yes, about this suitcase. You're the one who designed it, correct? I think I figured something else out about it. The suitcase is the reason you went to the shop, isn't it?
There's nothing you won't find out eventually, is there?
Won't you please tell me more about this suitcase?
Yes, I was interested in seeing how the suitcases I had designed were selling. I know that as a service professional, I'm not supposed to care, but I really wanted to know. And I was glad to see that it was the last one there.
Wait. The last one there?
Well, that's something.
That is different. That is very different. So you're saying, Mr. Nero, that the suitcase in question was the last one?
Yes. They're just so popular, they're practically flying off the shelves. Her eyes twitching
Yep.
again.
That's not exactly the impression I got.
The one in the shop is most definitely the last one.
Well, we're currently looking at that suitcase.
Really? Then I guess we sold all of them. Thank you very much for taking the last one.
I didn't say anything about buying it.
Then say you'll buy it.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Dude, I bet if you had a Steel Samurai on it, you would buy it in like 5 more seconds.
Obviously.
But why? I think it'd go great with your complexion, Mr. Edgeworth. It really suits you. I guarantee it personally as a service professional.
Well, that is, how should I put this? It's hideous.
What?
Maybe that was a bit too direct. Moving on, my issues with the suitcase isn't the design. It's the number of them remaining.
Remaining?
There were 2 suitcases in the in-flight shop when I investigated it.
2? But that's impossible. I'm sure there was only 1.
Looks like her story has generated quite the contradiction.
When I left the shop, I'm positive there was only 1 suitcase left.
Something is amiss here. What could be the meaning of this inconsistency? By the way, Mr. Nero, what is one of those suitcases doing here?
That's...
I thought you said there was only 1 left.
That one is, it's mine. I've used it for a very long time now.
Used it for a long time? I think not. Mr. Nero, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't lie to me.
Excuse me?
I don't believe for even 1 second that you've used this for a long time. A very long time at that. What proves that this hasn't been used for nearly as long as Mr. Nero says? Obviously, the price tag is still on there.
It's this thing. It's this thing right here. I'm sure of it.
It's always...
No, it's the fire extinguishers that I've fused to it for some reason.
Take that!
Tell me, Mr. Nero, is it also your habit to keep the price tag pristine on your suitcase? What is the meaning of this? Why would you lie about a suitcase? Despite having faith in her design sense, the sales numbers made her cry bitter tears. It was becoming increasingly clear to me. Mr. Nero, I think I understand. I know what you are trying to hide. Now then, this suitcase was originally in...
The in-flight
I think
shop?
so.
So she went to the shop, didn't like the sales numbers, bought one herself just to make it look a little better.
I think so.
And then took it in
I
here.
think so, yeah. Seeing as how the price tag is still in this suitcase, one can only assume it was out on the floor for sale in the shop. And the person who bought this suitcase was yourself.
Miss Francisca Van Kalma. No, Rhoda Tenero. Those eyes scare me. She's the killer. She's the killer here.
She has such a dead stare.
If she's not the killer, I will be surprised.
She has such a dead stare.
Take that!
It was you, wasn't it, Mr. Tenero? I hate to say this. The suitcase that you designed hasn't sold very well, has it? You saw how poorly it is designed that you poured your heart into its selling, and were deeply hurt. That's why you wanted to make it look like it was selling by buying it yourself. Isn't that right? Then the reason you went to the shop and came back here was...
I'm assuming they have more than just this one plane.
Obviously, they better have.
So all their inflate shops would have it, and one can only assume she has access to the whole network for that?
Probably.
The whole database on what sold?
Probably.
But that would be kind of weird? I'm sorry. All I really have is my job. I was overjoyed when my design was chosen. Yeah, why was it chosen? I thought that maybe I had finally accomplished something.
But
this is hitting
the
too hard.
suitcases didn't sell.
It's because of the design, isn't it? Or because it's, as you put it, hideous.
I can't say they chose a great place in which to sell them. Tell them either.
I mean, it's really expensive at $1,200.
Yeah, especially while only...
Like, that's really expensive.
And only in an in-flight shop?
We weren't selling a single one, and they were just sitting there collecting dust. I felt so bad seeing them there, day in and day out. So I decided to buy one for every flight I worked. Oh my god, are you made of money?
Damn! You buy one every single time you work a flight. I see. So now to keep your resolution, you went and bought one today as well.
Yes, and here's my receipt for that purchase. Oh my god.
Damn!
$6.40? No, that's $5.40.
This receipt is clearly timestamped 5:40 a.m.
How do you have that much money, lady?
Well, she works as a...
The truth
Where's the
is,
flight?
she's an attendant, though.
First?
I mean, in first class, but to get $1,200 a flight? To get over that?
Yeah, that's true. That's true, that's a lot of money.
I'm sorry, but how many flights would she have to be on?
That's a lot of flights.
We just assume 2 flights a month. That's still $1,200 to live on. If you got $1,200, no. You would need to earn like $2,000 every single flight, basically, to afford this. And still, eat and have a home and stuff.
Perhaps she doesn't even have a home anymore.
Oh, that would suck. The truth is, there's still a bunch of them left unsold. They plan to scrap the remaining ones at the end of the flight.
Mr. Nero, where are these other suitcases?
They should all be down in the cargo hold.
Since the suitcase the killer used could have very well come from the cargo hold.
Mr. Edgeworth, you don't think that the killer used one of my suitcases to...
Yes, I do. The killer used one of your beloved suitcases to move the victim's body.
Ah! How could they? Those suitcases were meant to be faithful partners to our passengers on their trips. That's all I ever wished for them to be.
Mr. Nero, is there any other way to get to the cargo hold other than the elevator?
The only other way is through that door there.
And what about security?
That door has no special locks installed because just to enter this room, you need a special key card that only crew members have access to.
Which means that the culprit is someone who can enter this room, eliminating the passengers and leaving only crew members as potential suspects.
I can't believe it.
Yes, Francisca? Going on these wild goose chases, you're a disgrace to the von Carmen name. And what do you mean by that? The suitcase came from the cargo hold. That fact alone tells the whole story. Yes, which is why I said the culprit must be a crew member who used their keycard. Miles Edgeworth, you're proposing that the killer rode the elevator from the cargo hold, correct? Yes, that's the only realistic possibility. That other attendant, Miss Mealy. I asked her earlier, and she had this to say. Just got information out of Miss Mealy. In order to make the elevator go down to the cargo hold, a different key card is required. A different one. Yes, and the only person who holds that particular card is you, Miss Rhoda Tenero, and only you.
Ah!
What? Is this true, Mr. Nero?
Yes. I keep that key card in my locker at all times.
Could you please show us that card right now?
Yes, hold on. I mean, is the locker actually, locked? It doesn't look like it. Ah, I don't believe it.
What's wrong?
The key card, it's gone.
Very clever. Pretending that your card was stolen when in fact you're just trying to hide it from us. You really thought this through.
Wait, It's not like that.
You can tell us all about what it's like down at this station. Officer, arrest this woman.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Edgeworth. Francesca.
What's wrong? There's disbelief written all over your face.
You know, Phoenix Wright would instantly get her cleared,
Yeah,
right?
obviously. Francesca, I know that you are the lead investigator on this case. However, hold it! Don't even think about wasting any more of my time. You know the rules as well as I do. Evidence speaks louder than words. Even if this isn't a courtroom, the basic tenet still applies. I intend to investigate the cargo hold now. What will you do, Miles Edgeworth? I intend to do likewise. Okay, we're joining her in the cargo room.
I never had to do anything upstairs.
Yeah, we forgot to do that. Oh well.